Now. All right, and we're recording. Welcome everybody to FITBANKER's Kilimanjaro Trek 2017. This is one of my promises to you. It's going to be an 8-day leadership summit like no other. I got speaking the other day after really being nudged and poked by and prompted by two guys that are really keen to do it. One is my former boss, who's an amazing guy at JP Morgan. He now lives a phenomenal life and career in the Middle East, and he's like, Ronnie, where are you taking me to that Africa of yours? And he keeps nudging me, and I said, we're going to be doing the Skilly thing, and he's so keen on it. Him and the other lovely lady called Noor Shazad, who is also on this webinar, they've been nudging me, and they've been having me not shy away from what we're creating, because it is a big feat to organize, and this is nothing small, and it really requires very serious contenders and some people that are really, really, really serious about ticking this big item off their bucket list. So I'm just going to ask you for the next few seconds if you could unmute yourselves. And if you could unmute yourselves, I want to just hear from you yes or no's as I ask a couple questions. All right, we have a lot more people that have just joined in. All right, guys, so just mention that this is something that has taken some time for us to pull together. We initially planned for this to be last year, September 2016, but there's so many moving pieces in getting a mountain climb to work, like is the leave, the notice period ample and adequate, and are providers that we're going to work with of the right caliber, and are they also available? So I'm going to share a bit about that. Kickoff context to this quote, which is, climb mountains not so the world can see you, but so you can see the world. So if you can unmute yourselves, a couple questions for you all. Either if you can answer live, or if you can raise your virtual hand. So first of all, who is really, really up for an adventure that is once in a lifetime, and one that is an adventure with a difference? Say aye.
Aye.
Awesome.
Aye.
Awesome. And
Totally.
Amazing. And who knows, some of you might not know this, but this is a really, really big question. How many of you know that you have only one life and you don't want to die with regrets?
Absolutely. Definitely.
Awesome. All right, then this is the right webinar that you've dialed into. Just double checking that we've got the right people here. All right, excellent. So let's kick off. Let me tell you what we're creating. And what we created is we really want this climb to be a climb with difference. So it's about, at the end of each night after the last climb that we did, every evening we used to do these exercises in the tent. And we used to do these exercises really to check in how everyone was. We created some games, and we found that it really built community. It also shifted how everyone felt each evening. It also gave us a heads up of who to look out for the following morning. And we used to do these little exercise questions around like gratitude, or how they're feeling, or checking in on what was the most challenging thing of the day, or what were the 3 things they were grateful for, not realizing that informally we are creating a particular development of the individual. And one thing we noticed as the organizers is that if we asked people to look at where they progressed and what they conquered, then that side of their leadership showed up. If we asked people to tell, and we only did this for the first 2 days, and many may not know that we then changed it, what was the challenge, what did they really find? The more we gave them an opportunity to really share what the struggle was, the more it showed up as a struggle for those people. And I'm going to talk about the last climb that happened. And I realize now, imagine if every evening we could have some content around leadership, because since that climb, there was one day, like day 3 was one of the hardest days. And whenever my wife and I are going through a really hard moment, like recently when she was giving birth, and it was really painful, and she feels like giving up, and she says, you know what, I can't do this naturally, I'm going for C-section. I said, babes, this is day 3 Kili. We can do this. And we use it as an analogy, and we've used it throughout after that climb for Tough Mudders, for various other feats and battles and hard moments in our life. We say this is day 3 Kili. And there's stuff that we learn from this. So I've now partnered in conversation with a guy who is actually a lecturer in leadership at London Business School. He is a mountaineer as well. And he is one of the most experienced mountaineers, especially for Kelly, who's done it over 50 times. And he is, with a asterisk in the corner, tentative to be with us on this climb, and that's really subject to numbers. But the intention is that we're going to cause those numbers, and he's going to be there. And it's all about that leadership in a tent. And if he won't be there for whatever reason, we're smaller numbers, is something that we will still create as FITBANKER. It is the world's highest single standing mountain. We are going to do what's called a 7-day climb. You can do Kili in 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, or you can do 8 days. In fact, when we went in 2014, there was a record that was broken just hours before, weeks before we got there, and somebody did from base to summit and back down in I think it was 4 hours, no, 7 hours 45 minutes. It was done. 7 hours 45 minutes to the top and back. And this is somebody that got acclimatized to altitude from Venezuela, and is somebody who grew up as a guide all his life. What we're looking to create here is a game of 20 plus leaders. We need minimum 20 of you committed and signed up. And signed up is defined as you've paid your deposit or you've paid in full. There's going to be 60 plus people for the climb, and that includes our guides, chefs, waiters, porters, and all that in total is going to be a minimum ratio of basically 2 point something to 1. So we'll be over 60. We're also going to be fundraising for a charity, right? So we want, that is our challenge and our drive. So once you've signed up, we'd love for you to support a charity that we're supporting. We're looking, possibly we'll be supporting two. One is Able Child Africa, which is the charity that FITBANKER work with. They are based and they do work even in Tanzania where this is, but not really by the mountain. And they are about children with disabilities, physical, learning, mental, and so on. And we are contributing to a number of the school projects that they have ongoing. The second charity that we're looking to contribute to, and that we will be part of our 8 days, is a school that is currently being built and that is affiliated with many of the guides that will actually be with us. So where their children will be going or are going, and it is being built and being built for a number of years, and we will spend a day visiting that. So we may have that day as the 8th day after the climb. So you really get connected to who and what we are fundraising for. And my promise to you guys is it's going to be one hell of a life transforming experience. So no one will come down that mountain the same, even, and I dread this to happen, even if you don't summit. And I'll explain what I mean by that, because summiting is not something that is granted for everyone. So just in terms of dates for your planning, it's going to be 9 days on the ground. One is a recovery day after we land there, a full acclimatization, because we land in a town called Moshi, and we will be getting used to that altitude, which is 1,600 above sea level. And then it's 11 to 12 days, including travel. So depending where you're traveling from, we have people who are coming here from within Africa already. Some people are joining us from Zambia. Some people may be joining us from the Middle East. And for them, they will make it in the same day to think. For those of us traveling from the UK, some of our flights may be overnight. And so it might be up to 12 days, else it's 11 days. So 9 plus 2 days of travel, or up to 3. There's also an option, but I won't focus much on that today. I will focus on that for those that, once you're signed up, then I will tell you the details on that. There's an option to go for a 3-day safari. If you've never been out to Africa or this part of the world and you're going this time of year anyway, you may want to add 3 days of additional safari. And we've got a number of providers, even after I posted about Kili, that are just, my phone's been ringing for them to want to offer us that safari. I'll talk a bit about that later. Throughout the climb and for the campaign, once you've signed up, we want you to invite people. We want to develop you as a leader, empowering others to do this once in a lifetime thing off their bucket list. We're going to be using the hashtag climax with us and hashtag FITBANKER. So when you are signed up and you say, yay, I'm climbing Kili, hashtag climax with us, give people the opportunity with a link to find out or connect to us and have them sign up. It's an absolute privilege for any of you that will choose to go with us, for us to be able to cause you or have you summit Mount Kilimanjaro with us. And it's nothing but a privilege. And I would also love to extend that to each of you, to invite anybody that is your friends or family to join you on the same. So before I go very far, there's a lot of people here that aren't familiar with FitBanker. So with your permission, I'm going to very quickly go over telling you a little bit about myself and FitBanker. So that's me on the left, that's me on the right. They used to call me beautiful in both instances. I used to be a fat banker working in the city, and after a bit of a health scare, or living a life that I thought was successful, I had a health scare after my wife and I lost a baby through a miscarriage. And as a result of stress, I ended up hospitalized with some random heart palpitations. And it was the moment that seeded me taking on transforming my health. And, in 2015, I took on, 2014, I started my health transformation. And 2015, 5 months later, the dude on the right showed up. Since then, what we do is now just close to 2 years now, about 20 months in, we coach people globally. We're an online health transformation program. We coach them through 90-day programs called challenges. These are some of the results that we've caused. Guy in South Africa losing 17 kilos, Rebecca losing 15 kilos on a vegan meal plan, somebody going from a size 20 to a size 14, 16, and one area she was working on was looking to conceive. And since then, conceiving and having twin babies because she took on her health. Somebody who transformed his health and got back into his passion and his love, which is acting. And these doctors who went around on the left, they do this annual drive campaign from Florida to New York, promoting health, but they themselves didn't appear or feel or look or think they were healthy. And they took on our program. And what turned out for them last year, June 2016, was them. Dr. Sejal's 53 pounds lighter, the other guy 30 something pounds lighter. And these guys are almost every day you'll see them tagging me on Facebook with them being in action. They're just entirely different people as a result. We've since transformed close to 200 lives, maybe just slightly over now. And people have done our program from across 15 countries. It happens online. And we've just been able to make a phenomenal difference that has been very humbling to us. Our focus is on health. While people get to transform their bodies and get six packs and guns and all this, all that is a byproduct. But our focus and real motive of being in existence is that we focus on health. And we've had people that have disappeared high BP medication, like my 70-year-old dad who's done the program, and he lost 20% of his body weight. We've had people who've got off cholesterol statins, my dad as well. We've had people turn around high creatinine levels in the kidneys. We've had people move from pre-diabetic to being totally clear. We've had people struggling and not unable to start IVF process because of them being overweight, being approved because they were able to lose weight. And that is a very, very big focus. Also, we've had, of course, other breakthroughs, like I say, six packs and guns and looking lean and changing the wardrobe 3 times through the program. But things like breakthrough in confidence, people, like I showed, went on to pursue their passion in acting, people having a breakthrough in their relationship, in their careers, in their location, in business. There are people that are meditation coaches and they didn't look like they did meditation or yoga in their view. And so they sign up to a program, and as they transform, they're now empowered to start off that online yoga business. So there's a whole host of breakthroughs that have come out of people simply transforming their health and their confidence that they can make it happen. And after we created these people, at the end of the 90 days, we had all these new people with new bodies and newfound energy and strength, and they wanted to do something more. And we didn't create like level 2, and we should at some point. But many of them would do the program over and over again. And we said, we need to offer them something new to do with this newfound body and strength, energy, and confidence. And so we introduced treks, we introduced retreats. We had our first retreat end of last year in Valencia. And this year we're going to have another 3 retreats, one of which is the climb and adventure. So with the transformation, we're looking people to take on adventure in their lives. And something that I say this filled with gratitude and humbled by it, is what I see through all this as my personal gift. And I've not been acknowledging it myself, and I'm not saying it as a way I'm bragging, But my ability, I find how I've been able to cause this difference for people. I have the ability with words and with a vision to part a certain level of confidence in another person to tell them that they can. And I find that a lot of people actually don't believe or know what's capable by them and the human body. So this here is in 2013. These are all a bunch of people that's me as a fat guy, novices, never been in a kayak. And I said, guys, I've got this vision, I've got this idea. We can go and kayak across the sea. And there's this island mountain ahead called Rangitoto in Auckland. And we can climb that mountain. And with zero experience of people who've never been in a kayak, we took them across, and I make them believe that they can do it. And we did it. And it was one of the most amazing things they did then. It was one of the most amazing things I did. And then we went and climbed that volcano and summited it. And it was one of the most epic things. Not such a big mountain, but it was amazing. Then in 2014, we did the climb for Kilimanjaro. I signed up to this program as a lie. A friend of mine was doing it. It was his project. It's part of a leadership organization that he's part of. And he says, we've got to do this project. I want 3 of us to climb the mountain and we'll raise £5,000. I said, brilliant. I just done my graphic design course. I designed this logo with the summit of Kili there, Africa, and it was for conservation. So I put the elephant trunk there. We'll do this thing called Climb Kili for Conservation. I was 103 kilos. I had no confidence in my physical ability, but I knew my mind was way stronger than my body. And I said, you know what? We'll do it. What the heck? If I say yes, then I will have to make the difference between where I am now and what's needed to summit to happen. And at the end of it, from 3 people with the goal of raising £5,000, we ended up getting 22 people signed up, and we were able to raise £17,000. This is somebody else's project. This is not part of FITBANKER, but I was in charge of marketing and growing the team. Was my role in part of the team. Designed the flyer, and with Sunil, who's a lot of my inspiration behind me going for this again, and supported me in a lot of the prep, and he's also been part of the FITBANKER team. We were able to take these 22 people to up Mount Kilimanjaro. 20 of them summited, and I will tell you later what happened with the other 2. I'll talk about that as we go through some of the photos. If I am not mistaken, I think I saw one of our climbers on this call. And Danush, are you there? Danush is there. Are you there, Danush?
Hi, Ronnie, it's Chigs.
Ah, Chigs, amazing. All right, that is Chigs. The guy whose voice you're hearing is the handsome guy here. Where is he? The guy on the left here, from the guide with the blue hat, and then 2 to his right with the amazing sunglasses. That handsome guy is Chigs, who climbed the mountain with us. He was one of the first ones to reach this peak. And I'll explain to you where the rest of us were caught up, and how most of these people were not going to reach this point because the mind wants to give up way before, the body wants to give up way before the mind does. And the mind is a very powerful thing. And in 2015, launched FitBank, and I've shared with you what I've been able to empower people to transform. In 2016, we took this Paralympian on wheelchair through the grueling Tough Mudder, and it pulled together people on the day, on the spot, and really pulling together people up for something big is what we caused. And we got this guy to complete Tough Mudder on wheelchair. He's an 18-year-old guy. He hadn't even turned 19. He just got back from Brazil, and 3 days later, after the Paralympics, we had taken him to do Tough Mudder. And this was him. He's paralyzed from his T4 in his spine to below, can't feel anything. And this is him even doing the monkey bars, and eventually fell in that water, unable to stand. He disappeared under mud for a few seconds, and I almost died there because I thought, will he come out? And next thing is he came out of that mud water screaming again. And he went for it again, and we put him up on these bars, and he went for it. But I really find in all this, and I'm very humbled to say that, is that what I'm gifted with is empowering people to believe in themselves. So hashtag make believe is what I sell in a box to people, that they and all of you on this, if anyone is dialed in here, the fact that you've taken the time out and you're offering your attention and time to be on this, if you have any concern about climbing the mountain, my role is to make you believe that you can, and then we prepare you, and there's ample time for you to be prepared to cause your transformation. So let's talk a bit about the climb. I'm sure you're itching to hear about the climb. So the mountain height is 5,895 meters. So this is about 6 kilometers high in the sky. So it crosses multiple layers and tiers of clouds. It is the world's tallest single standing mountain. The Everest and the Himalaya ranges is a range of mountains. This is the tallest single standing mountain in the world. And you will definitely, taking this on is a conversation you're going to be having with your great grandkids about you having done it. Um, what we're going to do is a 7-day climb. Like I mentioned, there are multiple climbs, but the shorter the climbs, the less time there is for your body to acclimatize. Now, most of us that are dialing on, a lot of you are dialing on from different countries, but some of you that are dialing in from the UK, Ben Nevis is only about a kilometer high. Everything else in the UK is very much at sea level or up to about 300 meters max above sea level. So it's very hard for us to train for altitude. In fact, there are very few places in the world where you can train for that altitude because it's very high and the air is very thin. Uh, the route that we're going to use, while it's 6 kilometers vertically high, we go zigzag around the mountain, and sometimes we ascend 900 meters or a kilometer in a day, and then we descend another 800 or 900 meters, and we end up net even. But that's just to acclimatize ourselves. We will in total do between 62 to 80 kilometers across the 7 days. And that varies for various things based on not really getting lost, but we just have had different experiences of the amount we climbed. But it's minimum 62 kilometers on this particular route. In a day, you might ask, how much do I have to walk in a day? In a day, you will walk, on some days, you will only walk 5 kilometers. On some days, you will walk as much as 17 kilometers in a day, and you will really feel it. And the 17 kilometers is done on the summit day. It's a day where we start to climb at midnight or 11 p.m. the night before we wake up. We start getting ready, and so long nobody loses any cash, I'll explain that. We start at midnight, and then we go up this mountain, and we're due to scheduled summit around 10 a.m. But depending on your pace, we had people summiting at 1 p.m. And then we have to come down all the way down to the camp we started from, and one more camp below that. And that total is 17 kilometers in a day. And that day we would have a walking time of about 16 hours, but we would have a wake time of almost 20 hours of being awake. So it's a very long day that day. And some days you're just walking for 5 hours. Then we can have fun, have a shower if possible, or you can play rugby. And I'll show you a bit about the fun that we used to have. The accommodation at the base, you obviously, when you get into the town that we're climbing from, Moshi, will be staying at a particular lodge or hotel. Very selective and picky about the ones that we'll be using, because you could get anything from 20% of what Travelodge offers to to a nice Holiday Inn. But we're going to get something decent that is really good for the area and that has a few amenities that we need. It's also going to be included in the package. The climate through the mountain is, we're going through 5 terrains. When we start, it's like thick rainforest type climate. And then it starts changing to evergreen. And then it starts changing to what we call kind of a gravel slash sandyish desert. And then it gets to a climate where it looks like the moon. And it's the most beautiful thing, I think, that every human being should get to see. There are parts of this mountain that you cannot believe this is planet Earth. And then we get onto rock and ice on the last day. So we go through 5 terrains over this climb. And over that period, you are changing the number of layers that you're putting on or taking off as you either get hot with body heat or you get cold with altitude. The temperature will vary from 30 degrees, 30 plus, maybe 30, 34, 35 degrees at base, and humid, really humid, to by day 1, we will reach a point where as soon as we get there, we will have our jackets on. But when we start off, you could start off in a vest, and there would be shrubs and stuff brushing against you. You might get some scratches, but by the end of day 1 itself, it already gets very cold and nippy at night. And then it's cold at night. We'll talk about that. And at summit, it goes up to minus 20 degrees. And I experienced that minus 20 degrees on my face. And I'll explain to you what I did when I was up there. So you're going to need some kind of equipment and gear. We're going to provide guidance on what you need to get. before the climb, 4-hour training. We'll do some trial runs in gear. So the sooner you buy the gear, the better, so that you can break into it. If you're somebody that's going to be losing weight and you plan to lose weight between now and the program, as an example, everything I climbed with when I was 40-inch waist and 100 kilos, I climbed it as 100 kilos, is now useless to me. So I'm going to have to buy new gear for my training. There's going to be gear you'll need on the climb itself, things like additional head torches, stuff that we carry, power packs, battery packs, a backpack, water, camel packs that we're going to carry on our back. At any point in time, you'll have a weight of additional stuff on you, which will be about 3 kilos up to, I carried my backpack that at its peak one day was 12 kilos, but that was very stupid of me. I didn't need that weight. So I'd say up to 5 kilos backpack weight is what we will carry. So we will train, when we do some training, we will carry bags with some added weight in there for us to practice. We're going to have guides. They're going to be facilities, so there's going to be communal tents for us to have tea and meals and catch up and chill. Most tents are going to be shared, so you'll be sharing with somebody, either somebody we meet along as we're training. Obviously, you'll be sharing same gender, or if you're a couple, then you can share a tent, male and female. Or if you just start dating with somebody of the opposite gender while we're training, then you can share with them as well up the mountain. And there's a certain ratio which differentiates the guides and service providers. And there's a ratio of the number of guides to the number of climbers. And a lot of people go lean on the number of guides and support team they provide, because there's going to be about 2 or 3 chefs with a team our size. There's going to be waiters, about 4 or 5 waiters. There's going to be about 11 professional trained guides for the number that we are. So if we're 22, there's going to be a kind of 1 professional per 2 of us. And these guys are trained to watch how you're breathing, to watch how you're moving, to see your feet are dragging, and they will stop you, coach you, guide you, correct you, or they'll pull a bag off you, or they will lift you and walk with you for a piece of the journey if you're too tired and knackered. And it happens to the best of us, happened to many of us. There are also some extras that I'm requesting and demanding. Last time we went, we had a lot of girls who had never climbed a mountain. I thought, my stereotyping was that I thought they would be very finicky to want a particular type of toilet, a particular type of shower and hygiene and all this stuff. But I think I used them more than the ladies. I'd requested a portable shower. We had carried some additional chemical toilets. And these are not all provided by all climbers. So it's something extra that we request. There are also things like checks that we have for oxygen and your BP and so on as we go through the climb. And every day we're doing these health assessments so that we know how everybody is. We do them every morning and at night. And if we see anybody is going into the red zone, we will immediately attend to them, look after them, make sure they get the right medication if need be, or whatever is needed. So it's a bit of a show and a process to pull a mountain climb off, especially of a significant size. So, this is stuff that I'm not going to compromise on quality for, and make sure that we're really including things that matter. And then on the 8th day, what we're doing is the day of gratitude, or seva. This is the day we're going to work with the school. So after the climb, we're going to be there for 1 full day, unless someone has exceptional circumstances that they need to fly back for, or they are going for the 3-day safari, or making it a 4-day safari. Unless that, but we would request that everyone's there for that extra day where we're going to a school that's being built. We may get to do some work in terms of building, but if not, we will get to see, speak to, meet the people, see school in action. We will go there with some of our guides who, the people that take you up this mountain, honestly, by the time you come down the mountain, you will want to smooch these guys, you would want to hug them, you want to love them, you want to see and know everything about them. They truly have saved your life multiple times through this climb. It's not risky in that you were falling and dying stuff, but you'll just be filled with gratitude for what these guys do for you. It's unbelievable. And I'll talk about that. So I'm going to very quickly go into showing you guys some photos from our climb. So these are photos that I took, and feel free to ask any questions. I can't, because there's a number of you on. If you want to ask a question, please unmute yourself and just ask a question as we're going through these photos. So this is us. That's Chirag there with the correct top, Manchester United at the back there. And this is what we do is when you get to the base, we're starting off. This is already at an altitude of about 16 to 1800. So we drive up to this entrance gate and we have to wait. There's a whole number of other climbing groups ahead of us. It gets really, really numbing on the mind. I think we waited there about 3.5 hours before we started. And we thought we were dead even before the climb started. And we have to register, you have to weigh in. If there are any people that are on and you are East African citizen, which means you are Kenyan, Tanzanian, or Ugandan, the gate entry fees have gone up for Kilimanjaro since we went. They've gone up about almost twofold. It's actually become one of the most expensive mountain climbs globally. There's what's called 7 peaks, 7 of the top mountains to climb, and Kili has now become relatively one of the most expensive because they've just hiked up a lot of their fees. And we do that, we sign up, we have to line up and register, give all our details there. Like I mentioned, if you're East African, you pay a reduced rate. Otherwise, we all pay foreign rates, even us Zambians, even though we're around the corner, which is quite annoying. And even I'm born in Tanzania, but they didn't let me pay the discounted rate, which is really annoying. This is when everybody's smiling before the climb starts. And you can have a look at the size of some of us there. Was that a question? Yeah. Okay. If there's any question, feel free to ask. Ridwan, I've also muted you. If you don't have a question, then feel free to keep yourselves on mute so there's no background noise. So this is the start from the gate that we used, which is called Machame Gate. And what happens is all the guides have to be checked because a lot of the guide and tour companies, what they tend to do is they tend to misuse or abuse the guides. And what they do is they would overload them with what they're carrying. And what's worse is that the guides also do this out of desperation or need for money. And so they will easily say, we will carry a 60 or 80 kilo load. And they literally can carry that on their head and go up the mountain for days. They will also do that with not the best gear that we will have, some with holes in their shoes and a whole bunch of stuff. So what they do is here's a full inspection of everyone, seeing their bags, weighing their bags to see how much is there and that they're not being overloaded in their bags, checking that they all have the essential gear themselves, like head torches and the right boots and the right attire and so on. And then the climb starts. This is end of day 1. This is what you also have. I seem to have missed a photo there, but there's a photo of you find some people giving these really cliche, cheesy pep talks at the bottom. So there's a photo of me, but I think I've missed that out. And this is us reaching day 1. So we've gotten to this part. This is in the morning. On day 2, people will, the guides come around to our tent at around 6 a.m. and they will knock or grab your attention with a cough or a whisper and offer you cocoa or coffee or tea, whatever you want, nice, hot, steamy one. And I tell you, in that cold, it is the best thing that goes down your gullet. And you come out of that tent, you're just seeing the beautiful sun breaking above the edge of the mountain. This is us now starting day 2. As you can see, what happens is the porters that are carrying, we've started off while they pack up the tent and all the equipment behind us. Then here they overtake us midway, so we move to the side for them to bypass us. And they're carrying these loads on their head or shoulders, but everything is equal. By day 2 itself, we are already above first tier of clouds. This is one of the lovely ladies that was on our climb. And we literally, you're in a world that you've just never seen or experienced. We're floating above layers of clouds, the first layer. We've climbed for ages, and at every stop, we're doing stretches, we're doing yoga, we're having some fun and games. And you reach a point like this, and it still looks like the mountain is ahead of you, but believe you me, we are about 3,000 meters high at this point. Behind there, that's just the peak of Kili. It's called Kibo Peak. And this is us doing stretches. We used to do a lot of great stretches at the end of each day and at the beginning of every morning. This is some of the side effects of what happens. This is one of our guys who climbed with us, Shamil, and he had nose bleeding. So stuff like that will happen. This is Miha, who joined us from, I think he joined us from Slovenia. And he was one of the most physically, or at least appeared athletically, physically fit person on the climb. He's 37 years old, one of the most fittest. And I'm going to talk to you about this guy because he didn't get to summit Mount Kilimanjaro. There's a big myth that the fitter we are, the greater chance we have of succeeding. The fitter we are, what happens is we tend to not pace ourselves well. We tend to go fast. We're naturally competitive. And he didn't acclimatize too well. So he reached the first peak, which is called Stella Point, which is the rim of the ring of the volcano of Kilimanjaro. But it's like reaching 99.95% of the summit and then not touching the summit. And he had to turn back because he fell unwell. I think he had the runs or diarrhea on the last day. And it can happen to anyone. And I'll talk about that. This is day 3. I think day 2, day 3. We start crossing these amazing rocks, and you come to a part of the world which literally looks like the moon. These rocks are volcanic, and they even have this weed which grows on them, which looks like lava that's still alive. You literally will see parts of this world that you've never seen anywhere in the world. It looks like the moon. Amazing. And this is us now. You can see the vegetation has started to disappear. We've gone past rock here. A bit more vegetation has come where the river is flowing. And then you get amazing fauna. These are some plants that are there that I've just never seen. That plant behind where we're standing, I think, is about 100 years old. It sheds leaves off the bottom and keeps growing off the top, and it keeps growing taller and taller. And that's possibly 80 to 100 years old, and they retain a lot of water in them. Otherwise, all around them, you can see there's lack of water and vegetation, and very, very few things grow there. It is one of the most beautiful things. We will get mist. You will be walking amongst the clouds. This is now, we're talking of 2-3 layers of clouds more above what we just crossed on day 1 itself. Scenes like this, landscape that's just you've never seen before. This is us walking through a cloud, and there's a crack in the cloud where the sun is falling through on this big wall that lies ahead of us. I'll talk about the wall. This wall is called Barranco Wall, and it's the only part of the climb where we will somewhat have technical climb required. What I mean by technical means we will have to use 3 of our limbs at a go. And when we're using 3 of your limbs at a go, sometimes we end up going for a bit of an extra stretch. And what could happen is, this is Chirag, who's also on the call, his jeans opened up. So you could create natural air conditioning if you're not careful. So that's what happened when you try to extend a bit too far to prevent falling. You might create some natural airways for you, which is really cooling, and you will thank yourself for creating them. It's just coincidental that Chirag's joined today's webinar, so thanks for being on, buddy. This is penultimate day. This place is called Barafu Hut. Barafu is Swahili, and it's a word that comes from Indian language. Swahili, a lot of Swahili words come from Hindi or Gujarati, called Baraf, which means ice. And Barafu Hut means ice hut, ice camp. This tier, this level, everything around you is ice. And we're going to sleep on that at night. So it's rock and ice. And over the years, there have been times when there have been snowstorms and this is fully white. Over the years, through the so-called global warming, a lot of the ice has disappeared. But there is still a lot of ice, and we actually end up sleeping on some of it. After we've spent that night on it, oh, God, I'm sorry, the way this works. Got to quickly go through them. So, yeah, if there are any questions, after we reach Barafu Point, that is the penultimate night, we then try to have our supper by about 4 or 5 p.m. And the idea is to go to sleep at about 6 p.m. with the intention of waking up at 11 p.m. So we get about 4 or 5 hours sleep from this point. It's the night before the big climb. This is the one which is going to really pull our body. We thought day 3 was the worst. We had a lot of people crying on day 3. And on day 4, I'll share with you, we sent someone down. So one of our teammates, Shay, she had what's called cerebral edema. It's something we can't control. It was swelling of her brain, and she had migraines, and we become delusional. I became delusional for a bit, and I misplaced some petty cash while I was on the climb, and it caused a bit of drama up the mountain. I'll explain that on one of our training tracks. But basically what happens is this night we try to get enough rest and carb in us, and we wake up at 11 p.m. and at midnight we start climbing, and we walk through the night in the dark with our head torches. And all you can see in front of you is pitch black, dark sky, dark mountain. You can't make out anything but people in front of you, and you just see a trail of lights going up the mountain. These would be other climbing groups that have also started probably at 11 p.m. themselves or midnight. And the best thing is, and it's freezing, it's one of the most freezing nights, it's where the ice starts going through the layers of your soles of your boots and the 3 socks that you might be wearing, and you're feeling it on the bottom of your feet. You're beginning to feel that I won't feel my feet anymore. And then this beautiful thing called the sun breaks out, and it's one of the most epic views. And you feel that warmth of that sun hit the back of your neck and your back and your chest and your face, and it literally lights you up. And it is the most beautiful thing. We're now approaching what we think like we're almost there, and at this point the oxygen is very thin, and people feel like they're running at 10 or 12 kilometers an hour, but they are walking slow as f. And this is so beautiful. You look down here, this is really what it looks like. It is just epic. You look back, where are the people behind you? We're trying to keep not more than a 500-meter gap between the last group at the back and the group in front. We had Chirag and them that were really ahead with a few of the other younger guys. We had an 18-year-old guy who had done this as well with us, and we had 18 to 37. So basically, double the age range on this climb. And one of the most beautiful things, and as you go through that, after the ice, you see this volcanic rock and sand, and you're getting here what you think that's the top, and we're getting there, and people are just relieved, and this is them hugging the guides, and people are putting their bags there, and they think, God, we did it, but you haven't done it, and people are dead, and they're dying. And this guy is somebody who I signed up to the climb 4 weeks before the climb. We were out partying in Nairobi. I met him in Nairobi because I was in Nairobi for a few weeks or months before our climb. And we were out drunk. And as we were drunk, we went back to our apartment. We were sharing an apartment. I made him open the website, and I made him sign up to join us on the mountain while he was drunk. And I didn't get arrested for doing this. And then he signed up to the climb. And sometimes I need alcohol to make people believe. And he climbed it. He got a cold and flu that week, which was really bad. He had no gear out with him in Africa, and he had to buy a lot of stuff there, which was expensive. We brought some gear from him from the UK. And at this point, he's just probably cussing me and everybody else for what on earth is he doing. And at that point, many people are giving up and like saying F this. And they're parked by this, what's called the Stella Point, the first peak. And I'm like, we've got to go ahead, guys. And we march on. And the picture doesn't do justice, but what's in front is one massive white glacier. And there are these 2 beautiful white glaciers that you get to see. They are massive, massive mammoth balloons of ice that you have to cross. And you don't see them unless you go past the point where you've just given up, like we saw in the previous picture. And we keep walking. And it's actually what appears like 10 or 15-minute walk, but it took 45 minutes for many of us to do at that altitude. And then finally, we summit. You may want to take a flag of your country. That's us with the Zambian flag and Zambian gear, waving as we've summited. That is the 18-year-old guy. I was just carrying him. He just signed up over some text message on Facebook while he was in Zambia, and his grandparents entrusted him with me. He's a good family friend. And his younger sister is very keen to join this climb. She's 16 or 17, so I think she's looking to compete with him. He was 18, one of the youngest guys that did it. And then you can do a few stupid things. What I did was I decided to do, then was the craze in 2014 of the Ice Bucket Challenge, if you remember. So I had taken on dare to the Ice Bucket Challenge at the summit. I wanted to do the world record for one of the highest ice bucket challenges, but it happens that a number of people did it, and Guinness Book of World Records replied to me saying that didn't demonstrate a significant amount of skill, and they don't understand how much skill it took. Anyway, I poured this water over my face, and you can see my face a bit white there because it turned into ice. It's minus 20 degrees up there, and I was 100 kilos when I'm doing this. And so there's some people here that have joined. I remember your messages during the week were, I'd love to do it, but I don't know if I can. I just want to let you know that this fat bastard that you see in the photo could do it, and my invite to you is consider you can. We have adequate time to train, and your mind needs to be there already at Summit today, and then we will do the physical in between to get us to the top. This is, again, the rest of the group. This is a whole bunch of girls that came at the end. They gave up initially at Stella Point, and there is no reasoning at that point. If you think you know this person, you've known them for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, they're very understanding. If I explain logic to them, they will swear you. Consider it that at Stella Point, everybody is in labor. And so if you're trying to reason with somebody, you might get socked in the eye, you might get punched, you might get spat on, you might get kicked in the face. And so I started telling these people, guys, we're not giving up here. Let's go. And I started getting cussed. And meanwhile, Chirag and 3 other boys have gone ahead. And I just went to my wife. Then I said, listen, Ambi, we are 99.5% of the way. I am not going to allow you to live if you give up at this point, because I will go on about it, and this will be a conversation for life. And and then a few positive words as well. And I empowered her to get up from that point and start going. And as we started, then the next couple started. Sunil and Daksha said, all right, we're going to do this. But at that point, everyone said, we can see the finish. Why do we need to go there? This is all about your ego. Let's not do that. Let's just get down now. I don't want any more of this. Fuck these guys. Why are we doing the climb? So everyone, male or female, is in labor at that point, and they're cussing and kicking and swearing and punching. And then they calmed down, did some deep breathing, and then they finally came. And these are the guides that brought them. So this is the last of the people that finally summit at 1 p.m. And then we start heading down. So you think you're done and you are dead tired. You're ready to sleep. Like you just want to drop face down. And then we say, now we've got to start walking down. And that walking down is tiring, but you have to also walk fast at a really fast pace going down. So if you're not moving fast enough, you'll have a guide quickly get your hand over his neck and shoulder, and he will kind of fly with you as he runs down. So you will discover a pace going down that you didn't know you could do. And going down, I missed the photo here, but going down, I just posted a photo this morning on Facebook, which shows a part where we're like walking into the clouds. One of the most beautiful, most epic things. As we come down from the climb, you can get your shoes washed there. People will do this, and you can get, I think somebody was offering a massage. I don't know if there was a massage there, but it's cool. Then there's going to be a big party. There's what's called a tipping ceremony. So we give tips to all the guides, the waiters, everyone. And by now, you know these guys on a first name basis. You absolutely love these guys. There's a big drums and music and everything, song and dance pulled out. You're getting right into it. You're dancing with them. We then go back to the lodge, and there's a lovely pool there. So I'm also looking to secure one which has a pool, and you just want to get in. You are absolutely elated. And in the evening, we called all the guides, and we are not supposed to get them drunk, but we got all of them drunk. And it was one of the most epic things we did. And we form a bond with every other person there like no other. We are buzzing. We are very elated. We're buzzing on oxytocin. We are buzzing with endorphins. We're buzzing with serotonin. And some of the natural byproducts of that was a couple of people who met on the mountain end up having awesome sex. A couple of people since then are in a awesome, loving relationship. Not the same two couple of people that had sex. But a lot of interesting things happen when you come down, because you've literally gone through heaven and hell with this whole crew. You have moved from strangers to friends to deep family. Till today, we have Chirag on this call. I consider every single person that climaxed Kili with me as blood family. Like, we have this amazing chat and bond going on, and I think we're there for everyone. We've attended each other's very important events, dates, baby showers, engagements, weddings. It's something that we're always in communication with and connection with each other. So really, 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 who you climb with, I really say this, who you climb with is almost everything, and you want to make it very memorable. So it's not just about tick the box and climb a mountain, but make it about the experience. And that's what we're looking to create with this one. With the added on leadership and the extra day that we're doing. We really want this to be just amazing experience. So that's the climb. Have we got any questions? Any questions, guys? Sorry, there's a question there. Yeah, Noor? Sorry, Noor, I saw your hand raised. Nikki or Gozi, is there a question? You're unmuted.
Well, hi everyone, it's Gozi. I'm actually probably a lot more scared now knowing everything than before when I knew nothing. So I just wanted to share that.
Awesome. So I'll talk a bit more about the risks. Any other questions? Is Jag on as well?
Which route are we doing?
We are most likely going to do Machame route, or we're going to do a modification of Machame route. So most of the routes end up at some point, after some point, they all end up at the same place to climb up. So what was happening as we were going up our route, suddenly we found a whole bunch of new climbing people that we didn't cross, all there on summit day. So suddenly on summit day, there's like 100 people summiting, and like, where on earth did they come from? And that's because multiple routes converge at a particular point at Barafu camp or a camp prior, some of them. So we're going to possibly do something modified. We're looking to have Barranco Wall included in there, which has a bit of a technical climb. And in response to Ghazi as well, I'm looking to have and it's not, I'm in conversation with my 72-year-old dad to join. My 68-year-old father-in-law is here. We have Emma on the call, who is also inviting her mum to join. And she's also, I think, 68 years young. And we're going to do this responsibly. And so that's memorable for people that really want, at whatever age they are, they get to tick off things off their bucket list.
Also, could you share which guide organization you're using?
Yeah,
well?
so there are about 3 of them that I'm speaking with, and 3 of them have all committed, and I'm working out things with them. And what's going to make a difference, what's going to shift things, is the moment that we have the numbers confirmed. But these are all guys who, in my view, are very top of the game. One guy has done it over 100 times, is one of the UK's most accredited climbers. Another guy has done it about 50 times. And again, as an example, one of the guys that we're working with, he's affiliated with the social enterprise and the school that's being built at the bottom. So therefore, there are various things we're considering. But also what matters is the number of people, because it needs to be workable. And to get certain people with technical abilities and skill, as well as us organizing it we need a minimum count for them to be locked in. So as soon as you are, all the people that are approved to climb Kilimanjaro have to be a locally incorporated company in Tanzania. The rules are very strict and have changed recently around that. So a lot of people will be marketing a climb, and they might just be a travel agent. And the person executing the climb really matters. Now, you could have people on the climb where the guides, nobody speaks English. And we had where majority of our guides spoke a certain level of English that we were able to converse with and enjoy. Because at times you will be alone at a point of the mountain with, say, one of your guide, or 2 of you with a guide. And you want to be able to converse, like saying, I can't breathe. And he should be able to understand, or whatever that is. So there's some companies that have people that aren't fully English speaking, and that's part of what we're looking to ensure, that there's a kind of minimum standard there. Jag, is that a question?
Hi, Ronnie. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Oh, hi, yeah. We were looking at, obviously, like, it's going away for quite a long time. It's nearly 2 weeks. We were looking at Princess doing it as well. Is that something that's...
So here's the thing. The current youngest...
Everything that you just said, I'm just curious.
Yeah, so look, this is something I want to do for my kid. For Kanea, I want him to kind of be the youngest. But right now there are game park rules for there. And I think officially the youngest age is 9 or 8. That's allowed.
Okay, yeah.
And Princess is 7, right?
Yeah.
And turning 8 in December.
Yeah,
right?
she turns 8 in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be something that we can have a number of conversations, but it will take a lot of enrollment to make this happen. It will take a lot of being able to demonstrate her and parents' level of fitness and so on. But it may be a no because of the age. After we did the climb, we inspired this other mom to do it, and she took her son, who ended up being the UK's youngest. If you Google 9-year-old Britain summits Kili, they are friends of ours from another leadership organization, and they heard about our climb and shared it, and then connected them to some of the people that we use, well, sort of, and they went and did this climb with a 9-year-old kid. So the whole family went, but it was mother, father were involved as well, and 2 kids.
Yeah, because I've seen that family. There are family treks as well, so they're probably a different route, I guess.
Might have been, but yeah, it was, it was inspired by our climb, so it's possible. We can find out. Emma, is there a question?
Yeah, I've got a question, Ronnie. Around equipment, I know, like you've said, that obviously we'll get an equipment list and we need to start looking at that, quite soon, and get things so that we can wear things in and stuff. The biggest thing for me, my question that sort of I came up last night, is boots. Now, obviously, we need to get our boots and need to be wearing them in and trekking and stuff between now and Kilimanjaro. Will you give us best boots to buy and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I'll do that. Let me just move on because I'm mindful of time as well. Guys, this was meant to be an hour, but it might take 15 minutes more because I want time for questions. So let's just look a bit at the why is this playing up? So what it is 8-day leadership summit that we're doing. For this, there are multiple providers there. I'll just be straight and open with you. You could climb for as little as 1,600 pounds, but it will come with what it comes with, and up to 8,000 pounds, right, or more. There are some, per se, glamping experiences. There's some where you have a ratio of 8 people to 1 person, and sometimes 2 or 3 people do a climb alone, but they need 16 people to take them for 2 people as well, to do all the cooking and cleaning and packing and carrying and all that stuff. So it does cost a lot per person. What we're doing is, what we're creating, we're looking to be in, it's going to be 2,500, so 2,500. And I've put there plus VAT as to be confirmed, but I think it's actually exempt. So we're just waiting for formal confirmation. But for those of you that have inquired, and I've already said that it's going to be 2,500, we'll stick to that, and we will have to sort out the VAT some other way. But I don't believe there's VAT, so I'm going to explain a bit about that. For you to do the climb, for you to be on, we would want you to confirm. And just to minimize complexity, look, you can actually pay in multiple installments between now and then, but we just don't want to turn into a kind of debt collection company of chasing people up. So to make it simplistically, if you want to pay installments, we'd invite people to pay £1,000 now and 1,500 by end of August. The first 10 secured at 2,000 or 2,500 is the total. What else you need to do is you also need to book your flights, and that's urgent. Now, when we went, many of us left our booking of our flights to the last minute, and many people paid 600 to 700 pounds for the flight. I have picked these dates, specifically these dates, because we're able to find flights for as little as 376. So if I went on today and I booked my flights, I will have a ticket for 376 pounds return, which is about the cheapest across 365 days in a year that you can get to this destination and back. You will also, the gear and the clothing that's required, that's what we'll also talk about, and we'll provide content, or we'll provide lists of all that's required for there. And we will also start fundraising for Able Child Africa. You need to start getting the gear and clothing, as you're asking Emma, to break into it. It really matters that you do. We had a few people wear their boots maybe a day or 2 or a week before the climb, and it causes loads of blisters, and it is a bit uncomfortable when you've not broken into that. Our promise, as I mentioned, is one life-transforming experience. We go as strangers, you become friends very quickly, and we're going to all leave as family. And my invite to you guys is to really live life in this moment. I'm going to share a story with you. When we came down, and I've got in front of me this big plaque, an award that was presented to us when we went to Zambia. It's a lot of people meet up with us. They gave us gifts and congratulation cards and flowers for climbing the mountain. I thought, wow, like this must really mean a big thing for a lot of people. And somehow when we accomplished it, it didn't feel, we just weren't hit by what we've just accomplished. And I was at a dinner with an uncle of mine, and I was telling him what we've done, and he's asking me so interested, so curious about how the climb was. And he's now like 73, 74. And he says to me, you know what, we almost climbed Kili. I said, what do you mean almost? I said, let's go. We can go again next year. Everyone that was meeting for these congratulatory dinners they were hosting for us, they were hosting a lot of dinners saying, you know what, should we do this? Let's do it. And it's very easy to have the intention to do it and to then go on and fulfill upon it. And this person said that, we were 30 something at the time, your auntie and I, we were at the base, and we had about 8 days there, and we said, should we go for the climb? Should we go for the climb? Let's do it. They inquired, they were about to pay. And then something said, you know what? We only have 7 or 8 days here. Why don't we go and see this part of Tanzania? Why don't we go and see this game park? Why don't we go and see Arusha? We'll come back and do the climb properly when it's all planned out, and we'll do it later. And this is 40 something years later. And he said, and we just never did it. And now my health is such that I can't do it. Got an ailing liver, he's overweight, he's got a whole host of medical conditions. And you could really get connected to that this is something that the person really wanted to do and didn't get to do. And he was asking me every single day of what it was like and looking at all the photos, really wanting to get experiences through us. And so I really invite you guys. I didn't think I would go again. In fact, a lot of us that did the climb, and Chirag's here will confirm that, a lot of us that did the climb said we will do this again next year or in 2 years' time. 3 years have passed, and nobody really, actually Chirag did one on his honeymoon now, nobody really has gone and done a climb. I've done a few physical feats, man versus mountain, other stuff, but it's very different from an intention to going and fulfilling and executing upon it. It does take something to pull this off, and it really it makes a world of a difference doing it with people that matter. So what's included in when you sign up on this with us, all the tents, the facilities, the toilets, the everything that's required along the climb, the staff, the team, the guides, everything is obviously all included. 3 nights accommodation at the base, and we're looking for something that possibly has a pool. Breakfasts are all included at the base. Some of the meals we may choose to go out. They're like nice local restaurants. There's like one Italian restaurant in the town, some Indian restaurants. There's varying things. So some of those meals we may want to go out ourselves and pay for. They don't cost an arm and a leg. All the meals on the climb are included. So there are meals and snack times along the climb, tea times and coffees and stuff in the morning. We will also have to carry our own protein bars and stuff that we want to carry, and gels that we can carry. And as we train, we will get acclimatized to how to use them. I've also learned since way better ways of using that, both energy and pain management, something I used up Mount Snowdon. A lot of us were very sore and physically tired up the mountain, and it's all got to do with good or bad habits around energy and pain management. Obviously, there'll be toilets and showers on the climb. There are long drops, which means big holes in the mountain, and a wooden structure around it. You walk into the wooden structure, and through the hole you will do your dump or pee or whatever. But we also carried these really sexy plastic chemical toilets that are portable, and they get carried to the top, and they got their own tent and a zip. And sometimes the zips broke for those toilets. But these will be carried up. There will be a portable shower. Again, very ambitious thing that we took it. I showered up till day 3. And thereafter it got really cold, and in that day and age I wasn't doing cold showers, and so nobody showered after day 3, but we do carry a lot of wet wipes and stuff. I'll also provide with us a lot of the training and nutrition guidance. It's not going to be rocket science. It's going to be a list of minimum amount of walking and a plan for you that you can follow of walking if you're not with us or not able to join our treks. I'm also looking to organize at least treks for us every 6 weeks, and in the last 3 months, at least 3 to 4 weeks, we should meet up, and we're going to do a few dress rehearsals, and maybe we can do a few charity fundraisers. Those are all really, really fun, and this is stuff that we really, a lot of experience we're taking away from what worked and what didn't work for our own climb. So we'll organize a number of treks in the UK. If you're somebody that's joining us from abroad, I will really, really invite you to go and explore your country, and I will help you and support you with anything that you need for those, and any training programs that you can follow. It's not going to be anything complex in terms of training, because you don't need it to be complex. It is honestly as basic as walking. This mountain climb, remember, is a walking climb, so we're trekking it. We don't need to have a particular gym routine, but you don't want to also get out of shape. So if a gym routine will support your nutrition meal idea plan will support you, then I will gladly provide those. The gear and equipment list. So you'll require a whole list of what to buy. Now, last time we had people spend as little as £300 or 200 something pounds, and as much as 750, 800 pounds. So maybe even £1,000. So you can easily buy a pair of boots for 200 quid or 250 quid. You can easily buy some jackets for 250 quid to 300 quid, or you can buy them for 99 bob. And you can find some really good stuff. So we're going to give you recommended brands that are of the right quality that we require. A lot of what we wear for UK winter is rendered useless up the mountain. We're going for -10 and -15 and -20 degrees on some days. So you want particular type of down jackets, you want particular type of internals and thermals, and particular types of wools that we use, merino wools, for those layers. So we'll give you the full list, and we'll also do some mock days where we try with all those layers. We'll also provide FITBANKER t-shirts, so Climax with us t-shirts. And what's not included, clothing, the accessories, that's what you need to buy. Some of you may already have some gear, some of you may need to buy some additional bits and bobs. So we're going to do some info sessions where we meet up, and then once you're signed up as well, we'll introduce you to the guides that will be taking us, and there will be other Q&As, and I'm looking to do some info sessions with corporates, because we're looking to get some more guys from corporates as well to join. Air flight is not included, you have to book that yourself. And then tips. I'm saying £100 each. When we did our climb last, the tips that we were giving to the climbers was £60 each was what we budgeted. And because of altitude, or just my brain and memory, on day 4 I lost that money up the mountain. And it basically, what happened up Kili is they radioed the whole mountain of all climbers, and I really feel crap for this, and they closed the gates at the bottom, and everyone was searched because of this missing money. Now, it's not something we instructed, but I had to just report that my money, I think, is lost. We eventually found it, because you become delusional. We found it after we summited and came down the next day, and I had to, of my own choice, gathered all the porters together and did this massive love you and forgive me and apologies for the inconvenience you've had to go through because of my misplacing it. But I was trying to secure everybody's tip money, so we collect the tip money in advance. I think we will do something different this time. We won't take the tip money up the mountain, and it will be brought to us at the base. But now I would say, even though we told everyone to budget £60, people were so blown away by their experience with the guys. People were giving £100 to £150 in tips to people at the bottom. You really, 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 really will be giving from your heart. So my invite is as well, just budget it. You will love that. So just carry that extra cash with you. And these are for the climbers and their families, and you will love it. You will just be blown away by it. What else is there? Yeah, that's what's included. And the risks. Let's talk about some of the risks. There's a risk in that there's no guarantee on summiting. There are multiple things at play. Your wellness, you could be injured, you could have swelling, and sometimes you won't have the call to say, I want to go ahead or not. I thought there was no way, if I'm on day 6 and they're telling me that, Ronnie, you can't climb, you're going down, I would be kicking and screaming and I'm going to start a fight. But sometimes you don't have the say. So the person that had to be brought down last time on day 4, she's a nurse herself. And we just asked her simply, what would you do if you had a patient come to you with your symptoms? And she said, I'd tell that patient to go down. And so she took her own medicine and she went down. And it was very painful for all of us, because we were like, part of our team is down. And then what happens is a guide goes with her, and to come down the mountain is very quick. You can actually get down in about 4.5 hours from wherever, if you're injured or ill or unwell. And you get to the base, and she was taken to the lodge and taken care of and fed and clothed and warmed up. So that's what's going to happen. So we can't predict that. There's a risk, obviously, of injury. There's a risk of, it's not a risk, but expect that there will be people that will vomit. There will have people that might have an upset stomach, but not everyone. So I don't want you to be filled with or left with this. All the people that did the climb before, I think, would say that they would do this climb again. It was more epic than anything else. We probably had about, out of the 22, maybe 4 or 5 people throw up through the climb on really intense days. We probably had 2 or 3 people have a runny, 2 people maybe have a running tummy up the mountain. One was Miha, who couldn't summit on the final day. One was Ambi, my wife. She kind of had the runs, and she was able to survive it. We had a guy who had a flu up the whole mountain, and we had Ambika, who was actually day one. We started the climb, and she started a period, which killed my plans of having sex at summit. But you know, that's what happens. So you can't predict a lot of these things. Some bonuses, and this is subject to numbers. Like I mentioned, there'll be somebody from London Business School who's a lecturer and a mountaineer, and he's going to come and provide some of the leadership coaching in the tent. Really, it will be something that you'll speak about for life, right? And if we get the right numbers, so if we have over 30 people, last time we caused 22, so I'm going to invite you guys to really share the hashtag climax with us and invite people. Then I'm going to look to get a camera and videographer. And it would be good. In those days, we didn't have them, but now we do, things like drone cameras. Certain things with technology, after and above a certain altitude, your batteries go dead. So we also coach you on how to wrap your batteries, and we'll tell you what to do and how to wrap them up and where to keep them warm so that you can pull out your batteries. Phones will die. You know, a lot of stuff dies. There's no signal there. So unfortunately, I can't use Runkeeper up the whole climb. But there's loads of things around technology and stuff that is worth knowing and worth doing with the crew. If you're like 2, 3, or 5 or 10 people, you will easily run out of some supplies. With 22 people, we had backup of so many things. We were sharing, we were supporting. So the number makes a massive, massive difference. And that's it. So next steps, those of you that are in, first contact us to make payment. There's already 4 of you that are confirmed. And I haven't even got the page set up, but what you'll have to do is to make payment to us at paypal.me. You can take a screenshot of this /FITBANKER. The initial deposit is 1,000, but if you wanted to pay today and if you paid 500 down, that's fine. So I know you're secured. There is a £300 non-refundable fee, and this is non-refundable up to and after a certain point, right? So it kind of, the moment we've locked in this climb, we have to book it with the game park. There are some payments that we have to secure initially. There are some payments we have to secure with the hotel accommodation and various other things on the ground. So there will be some minimal expenses that will be incurred right from the onset once these are the dates being locked in, and we need to lock them in quick because various things go, like lodges and other stuff that we need. So £300 is non-refundable. Now, if there's somebody that falls ill, gets pregnant, or anything of the sort happens where for medical reasons you cannot make it yourself, then we will find a way to get as much back and refund whatever we can. We won't really hold on to anything for that in reasonable circumstances. We're human beings. What's also urgent is you need to book your flights the moment you're locked in, because even within our own group, right, of us on this call, the moment 5 of you book your flights, the 6th person is going to get a higher flight price. Remember that, right? And that happened to us last time, and we were hating our buddies that were up this mountain. So just remember that the quicker we move, the more you win. Get insurance. There'll be a particular type of insurance for Mount Kilimanjaro. Most banks provided, my bank account provides climbing Kili. Kili is not considered what's called a technical climb. So when you're inquiring into the type of insurance, I can also provide you with a link for insurance providers if you don't already have one. And then we start training and eating well. And when we have this big carrot dangling ahead of us, that we have Kili ahead of us, you will just be inspired to be in action, and new you will emerge over this period. So we have perfect amount of months to train for, and still I'm committed to going. I'm going to cause people to sign up. We had people sign up to 2 weeks before the last climb, but there were people that were already fit and active, and they were taking a punt. So one was the drunk guy 4 weeks before, and another girl 2 weeks before. And she came on a bus the night before from Nairobi to Tanzania and started right in the morning the climb. It was just unbelievable, and she managed. And it was amazing. And then we're going to organize some fundraising events. So each of us will get to play a part and get to connect with the charity and get connected with the cause that we're going to meet on the ground there as well. So a little bonus that we're offering here. All of you that are signing up today, what we're going to offer, because we need to move fast to secure the dates and everything. Well, we already have 3 of you confirmed. All those signing up today, once you paid, we'll give you £100 voucher towards gear. We will tell you, and basically there were boots for 200 something. I was able to get boots for £100. So, and they last me till today, and I'm using them again on this climb. So we're going to give a £100 voucher for any of you who are signing up today. Else, if you sign up by 30th April, we'll give you a £50 voucher. And thereafter, it's basically the full 2,500. So we'll either give you a rebate of the price you pay or a voucher. And the biggest risk, though, is the risk of spending your life not doing what you want on the bet you can buy yourself the freedom to do it later. One of my best quotes, and I want to leave you guys with that. Any questions now? Open to questions.
Yeah, well, I've got one question and one thing to say.
Yeah.
So my first question is: do you guys carry oxygen up the mountain for like altitude, or no?
So for this climb, unlike Mount Everest, we don't need oxygen, but there is oxygen being carried. It's one of the other extras that we are insisting is carried.
Okay, cool.
Otherwise, what would happen is you, when other climbers, what they do is if they're not carrying that with them, the moment you are struggling, unconscious or whatever, they rush you down, and they can get you down to the point where an ambulance reaches, and you will be at base or in a clinic in 4.5 hours. But there will be oxygen carried with our guys.
Okay, cool. And then the second thing I wanted to say is, in terms of gear, the ski season's coming to an end, so a lot of stuff is on sale. So if you go now to get stuff, especially like jackets, gloves, headgear, stuff, just the really warm stuff, it's all on sale like now. So this is a good time to buy everything.
Yeah. So if you're buying, please check with us, because it's very easy to buy a lovely Ralph Lauren jacket that looks really puffy, but it might be shit on the mountain.
Yeah, but the stuff for like, the stuff like you're talking about for like -20 and stuff. I mean, yeah.
On sale.
Sorry, who's there? So just ask the question again. Any other questions? Nikki, is there a question?
No.
Okay. Bhavik, any questions? Bhavik, yeah, you're unmuted now.
Me?
Hi, I can hear you now. You were kind of breaking up. Can you ask again?
Oh, sorry. I said I have a few. How do I try to be there? And
so, Bhavik, could you ask your question again? For some reason, your voice is. It seems like the bandwidth is breaking up. Can you type it in? There is an option to type the questions in. I can't seem to hear you. So on the GoToWebinar app, you can type in questions. All right, I'm seeing other questions that have been asked. Emma says that there will also be a midwife there then if anyone's giving birth or needs the support. So Bhavik, if you could type your question. Nikki, was there another question? Or Noor, sorry.
Ronnie, this is Noor. So my question is if we pay today, can you give us obviously details of any of the obviously the UK other people participating, so that we can get together with them and then we can book our flights together?
Yeah, right now I have 4 solid confirms by word, and so yeah, happily I can connect you with them, and we also have some guys from Zambia as well. So and there are some guys from the US who want to be on, but with the time difference haven't made it. So Yeah, sure. As soon as whoever's signed up, we're actually setting up a chat. I'm going to be adding you to that, so we're all on it.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Any other questions? A question from Bhavik says, I am an ex-smoker, would like to improve my breathing. And if you're an ex-smoker, Bhavik, this is the best thing you can do. I hate to say this, but there are smokers that climb the mountain and then they go at the top and then they smoke there. But I think that if you join our group and community, we just did a trek the weekend gone. It was a 20-kilometer trek. It's epic, and it would be awesome to have you, Bhavik, join any of our training. Okay, Ghazi's got to go. Given that I am going to climb. Awesome. Bhavik, I love that commitment. So, yep. Look, Bhavik, I will support you, and we can have a separate conversation offline after this, anything health related. I know the line's breaking up for you, but definitely I will support you in whichever way, from nutrition and training and exercise, and it would be an absolute privilege to have you join us on this climb and take you guys up the mountain. Is that Noor? Is that another question?
Yeah, I was going to say, did you say that you haven't got the PayPal site, the PayPal page set up?
Yeah, this was this is the link, paypal.me. So if you take a screenshot of that, you can make the payment in there, paypal.me/FITBANKER, and then you just type the amount that you're putting. So you're either doing the full 2.5 or £1,000, right? But if you want to act today and you want to get the £100 voucher, then you can do the minimum 500 to make sure that you're in. I'm trying to minimize, and I didn't mind if everyone did this, but we're trying to minimize the admin task of having to follow up and chase up people. And last time as well, it was a bit of a nightmare chasing people up, and we were some of the people ourselves that were booking flights late because it's just human nature to procrastinate. So
no, I totally get it. I just want to make sure that I'm obviously I'm paying now. So as soon as we finish.
Awesome. And Noor, like I mentioned to everybody on the call, Noor is somebody who I couldn't escape because I've been saying this for over a year that we're doing this climb, and she kept asking. And this time I'm like, all right, we're doing it. And I've made all the phone calls to all the right guys, and her and somebody else are the people that really got me to get this to happen. And it's not going to be an easy feat. So I would be privileged to take as many of you as we can, and it will just be an epic adventure. Any other questions, guys? Nikki, is that a question? Or are you just on mute?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
All right, excellent. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up there. And if anything else, message myself or Emma Coyne. Emma Coyne is also connected to our Facebook FitBanker page. As soon as you guys have signed up and anyone signed up, we're setting up a WhatsApp group. And all those of you that are signing up today, we're honoring our voucher thing there, and it makes a massive difference. And you get some amazing quality stuff if you go to the right providers. And I paid for things 4 times more the price I could have got them elsewhere. So we will try and give you the best prices of where you can get certain gear. All right, guys, have an awesome Easter Saturday. Have an awesome weekend. Noor, is that another question?
No,
okay,
I'm fine.
Hand raised. All right, guys, have an awesome weekend, and just remember, we have one life, and let's make it epic. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, everybody.
Watch.